Let us see tonight how in Ramayana, how Divine Mother played a role in here as well. So most of us know that Mata Sita was the daughter of Videha, the daughter of Raja Janak. It was time for her to get married, and so this is what happened. Soi purari kande duvutora, soi purari kande hukatora, Raj Samaj aju juitora, Raj Samaj aju juitora, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. So Raja Janak, living in Mithila, or what we call Janakpur, he put together what is called a Swayambar. Swayambar means this contest, that whoever can come and win this contest will win the hands of his daughter, Mata Sita. And so all the kings from all the countries, they were invited, and the words in this chaupai tell us that an announcement was made that Soi Purari Kandev Kathora, Raja Samaj, this is Raj Samaj, and that whoever in this assembly, it was a huge assembly, the prize that was put there was in the form of the bow, Bhagwan Shankar's bow. And so whoever could have lifted that bow, whoever can string that bow, would be able to win the hands of Mata Sita. In the meantime, when Sita was little and playing in the home of Raja Janak, then she used to play with this bow, Bhagwan Shankar's bow. She would move it around, play with it, and things like that. So Raja Janak, being Videha, Raja Janak was a saint. He was beyond the body. And so he knew the power of the bow. And so whoever can do that, even though Mata Sita is playing around with it, no one else could have lifted it. And so whoever can lift this bow would win her hands in marriage. So the contest started. All the kings and the princes from different parts of the world came. They all tried. Not that they could not only have lifted it, but they all embarrassed themselves because no one could have moved it an inch from the ground. No one could stir the bow from where it was, much less lifting it. So Raja Janak, looking at thousands of great men, cannot move this bow, and so he thought, maybe this is a mistake. I've realized that no one can move this bow, and so he decided to speak when all the kings and the princes were done. He had very, very harsh words. He's now telling all the kings that you should go home in shame. That there's nothing you can do, you only boast of the powers you have. You cannot even move the bow an inch. But in this assembly, there was Bhagwan Sri Ram and Lakshman, and their guru at that time, Guru Vishwamitra. Why? Because Vishwamitra had gone for Bhagwan Sri Ram and Lakshman to take them to the forest to kill some demons. When they were done with that, on their way out, you remember the katha with Ahilya, Bhagwan Sri Ram touched the stone, the Gautam Rishi's wife, and give her life again. And then they went to Mithila, Janakpur, and they were sitting there very young, And most of us, if we study Ramayana, we know the temper of Lakshman. And so Lakshman heard the very harsh words of Raja Janak, and he wasn't very happy. And so Lakshman was asking his brother permission to go and lift the bow. Bhagavan Sri Ram quietly signaled to him that, Lakshman, sit, you're an invitee here. There are protocols for an invitee. That sit and don't say anything. So we'll find out in the Katha that Raja Janak, not knowing the potential of Bhagavan Sri Ram and Lakshman, started insulting everybody. This is a classic point of us judging situations from the outside. Not knowing people, not knowing what they're capable of doing, but just looking at them and deciding that they're good for nothing, or they're all of that. Either or just a regular person. This is the same mistake Raja Janak was making. The other Chaupai says that Sukrita jai jo puni parihau karai kuari rahu ko karahu. Raja Janak was speaking, and even though it has come to the point where his daughter would now not get married because no one can lift the bow, he decided that he will never compromise on the position that he has taken. This is a vow, this is what he decided to do, and he would not compromise, even though his daughter has to be left unmarried. Now this is the values, outside of the speaking responsibly, this is the values of a person of firm resolve. When we make a decision, we stick with it. We cannot live the lives of, like driftwood, or as we say in the West Indies, like dry leaf. We go wherever direction the wind goes. We have some values, we live by them. Regardless of what happens, if we have this sattvic approach to life, then, sometimes we call divinity universe. Even the universe will line up for us and ensure that things go our way. But we have to stick to our values. And so Vishwamitra is listening, the Guru of Bhagavan Sri Ram. The Guru at that time, Vasishtha is the real cool Guru. And so Vishwamitra decided to speak now. This is what he says according to Ramayana. He's talking now to Bhagavan Sri Ram. Lakshman has taken the seat. विश्वामित्र समय शुभ जानी विश्वामित्र समय शुभ जानी बोले अति स्नेहमय वाणी बोले अति स्नेहमय वाणी जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जो जनते हो बिन भत भूई भाई जो जनते हो बिन बत भूई भाई तौ पनु परिहते हो हसाई जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय so now Vishwamitra is now speaking to Bhagavan Shri Ram. He says, Ram, uthiye, get up, approach the bow, and relieve the anguish in the mind of Raja Janak. Vishwamitra could have seen how disturbed Janak was, like any father. You plan such a big event, especially the marriage of your child, and right in front of your face, it falls apart. So Vishwamitra, representing divinity, instructed Bhagavan Shri Ram, and he approached the bow. Bhagavan Shri Ram, even though this is such a Herculean task, nobody could have lifted it. Nobody could have shifted it. Sri Ram was probably the smallest person in size in that whole assembly. And so he approached the bow, showing no expression at all. No expression of joy, no expression of sorrow. He stood by the bow very, very gracefully. Some people can read that as, this young man here, he knows he can't do anything, so he's just standing there like he doesn't care anything. But this is a great value of Bhagavan Shri Ram, showing no difference when situations are in his favor and when they're not, just like when he was going to Banbas. However, the mother of Mata Sita, Sunaina, was sitting there with Sita, and she's looking at Sri Ram and thinking to herself that this is in the West Indies we say like adding salt to the wound. This is what she was thinking, the mother of Mata Sita, that why make this situation so much worse? This whole thing is set up to further insult us, as though we have been insulted enough already. Look at the tragedy that we're in. We cannot marry our daughter. And now to make situations worse, Vishwamitra is sending this little boy, a puny little child. And she's saying to herself, according to Ramayana, that these are mere boys. Great kings of tremendous power and prowess came and they couldn't have moved it. Sunaina is very worried. Janak is watching, hoping for the best. So Sunaina mentioned something. She said, Ravana bana chuana hichapa hare sakala bhup karidapa. Ravana ban chuana hichapa. Sunaina is saying that, look, why is Vishwamitra sending this little boy? The great Ravan was here. And he has decided not to even touch the bow. Ravan. The demon. Ravan was there? Well, yes and no. This is a huge argument in many, many forums online today and on social media. Was Ravan at the Swayambar? Was he not at the Swayambar? What happened? So, here in Ramayana, Sunaina is saying that Ravan did not even touch the bow, which means that Ravan was there. However, earlier in the same katha, something was mentioned about Ravan, but I'll bring a verse from Devi Bhagavad Mahapuran that tells us what Ravan said. In Devi Bhagavad Mahapuran, this is the third canto, the 28th chapter. These are the words of Ravan to Mata Sita when he abducted her. Durga Bhavani Ma Jai Jai Ambe Ma Durga Bhavani Ma Jai Jai Ambe Ma Kali Kapalini Ma Jai Jai Ambe Ma Kali चापभयानाहं सम्प्राप्तस्तु स्वयंवरे मनो मे संसितं तावन् निमग्नं विरहायुतं दुर्गा भवानी मां जय जय अम्बे मां दुर्गा भवानी मां जय जय अम्बे मां दुर्गा भवानी मां जय जय अम्बे मां. When Ravan was, we know the Katha, Ravan, the magician Marich, had become a golden deer when Bhagwan Sri Ram was exiled, to trick Bhagwan Sri Ram, to trick Mata Sita that this is a deer and she wanted it, so Bhagwan Sri Ram went after Marich. And so Bhagwan Sri Ram running after the deer, he heard a noise made by Marich, who was a person, so he made a human noise, and then Lakshman, forced by Mata Sita to go look and check what is happening with his brother, reluctantly Lakshman went. So we know that Katha. Ravan came in the form of, in disguise, as an ascetic. And he was able to enter, going past the Rekha. Mata Sita introduced herself to him, thinking this is an ascetic, a saint. And then Ravan spoke. Where are you from? Mata Sita is asking. We live in the middle of the forest. Why are you here and where's your ashram? Ravan decided to tell Mata Sita who he was. So he explained everything. He said, long since, it was a desire of mine to get married to you. I had asked your father for your hands in marriage. But according to this verse, this is Devi Bhagavad Mahapuran, the 3rd canto, 28th chapter, 68th verse. Ravan is saying to Mata Sita that I asked him and he explained to me why I cannot get your hands in marriage. And that is because I have put out what is called a Swayambar. And in this Swayambar, there will be Shiva's bow there. And whoever lifts that bow and strings the bow will win Sita in marriage. That I cannot decide for her to get married to any king. So inherent in that statement is that when the Swayambar comes, you can come. So Ravan was there. Ravan went there with Banasur. According to Ramayana, you see, Ramayana did not say, like I said, this is a big argument online, but this is in no way a clarification for what people are asking, but however, it's authentic information. Why? Because it's from the scriptures. Ramayana did not say that Ravan tried lifting the bow. It says that Ravan was there. Clarification is the Devi Bhagavad Mahapuran when Ravan said that I was there, and when I realized that this is really the case, that the bow of Shiva is what the contest is, lifting the bow of Shiva and stringing it, this is not something I was willing to do. I cannot show greater power than Shankar Bhagwan because he's my guru. Bhagwan Rudra is my guru, and hence I feared lifting and breaking his bow. This is not something I can do. And so during the time of the actual Swayambar, I was not there. So that makes it true and not true that Ravan was there. He was there in the beginning with Banasur, but before the contest started, when we put all of this together, Ravan had left because of his respect for his guru, Bhagwan Shankar. As we all know, Ravan was a demon, but he got all his power from Bhagwan Shankar. So even though tomorrow we're celebrating what is called Dashahara, the destruction of the 10-headed Ravan, 9 of those heads represented all kinds of wrong things. But like with every one of us, every person has at least a touch, a tad bit, even 1% or more of divinity within us, where we all have divinity, regardless of who we are. Rakshas, whatever religion we belong to, we all have divinity. We do wrong things because we suppress our divinity and we give way to our abhiman, to our bad thoughts, to our tamasic qualities. But whenever we want to become good people, do good things, all we have to do is go deep inside, tap into our divinity, and we'll start doing things differently. Ravan was Ravan, but he tapped into his divinity. Bhagavan Sri Ram says that one head of Ravan represented divinity. That's why he did not want to kill him. That is why Hanumanji went to give Ravan a chance. So many people went to Lanka to give Ravan a chance. Because there is some divinity within him. He used that divinity to decide that I'm not going to lift the bow because Shankar Bhagwan is my guru. And like I said earlier in the Katha, it was said that Ravan was there. And so if he had 10 heads and one represented divinity, then that's a large amount of divinity, a great amount, 10%. So in the same way, regardless of who we are, and some people are behaving differently, never judge them and condemn them and think that they're up to no good and they can never change. Always try. Whatever way you try, it doesn't have to be a pleasant way, it doesn't have to be a way that they think is helpful to them. They can perceive it as being harmful to them, but tap into their divinity. And you'd be able to help them. Or teach them to tap into their divinity by meditation, etc., and they'll be able to do. Ravan did it, so we can do it as well. However, this is a little bit of explanation when it comes to Ravan being there to Swayamvar. He said that, look, I could not go and touch the bow of my guru. So Mata Sita, she's now looking at Bhagavan Sri Ram. If you've heard this katha before, you'll know that Bhavani, the Divine Mother, in the form of Gauri, but Mata Sita was very fond of praying to her, and she used to go to her flower garden every morning. She'll pick flowers to offer to Gauri. One morning, going there, she saw Bhagavan Sri Ram and Lakshman, and she went to Gauri and she prayed. Because she had a feeling. She knew this is something, that something is different here. And so when the Swayamvar came, Bhagavan Sri Ram approached the bow. The only friend Mata Sita had left was her mother, who supported her. A mother never gives up on a child. Never, no matter what happens. But when Sita Maya saw that even her mother is now losing faith, and she's saying all kinds of things that, oh, look at this little boy, why are they insulting us more? This is what Sita Maya did.
प्रसन्न महेश भवानी
Sitaram Jai Sitarama Sitaram Jai Sitarama Sitaram Jai Sitarama Sitaram Jai Sitaram Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. The Chaupai tells us, Man hi man manava akulani. From her heart, she's sitting right there. Sita Mata sits there. Hohu prasanna mahesh bhavani. And she started thinking and praying to Bhavani. Bhavani Mata is Durga Maya. Bhavani means Durga. On the first day of Nauratri, when, there are 9 forms of Durga, Shailaputri. Shailaputri means Bhavani. Shailaputri means Gauri. Gauri, Bhavani, Durga, Shailaputri, all are names for the same form of Divine Mother. So like I said before, that Sita Maya used to go pluck flowers every morning, and she saw Bhagavan Sri Ram there. She picks flowers to put on the altar of Bhavani, of Gauri. When she did her prayers that morning, Ramayana tells us that while she was there and she was doing her prayers, that when she put the mala on the neck of Bhavani Mata and she clasped the feet of Bhavani, of Gauri, that mala fell right in front of her. She took it and put it. Ramayana is saying this in the next Chaupai. Puja hi man kamana tumhari. She did her puja to Gauri Mata. In the Chaupai that we chanted, Sita Maya is mentioning that, O Bhavani, O Divine Mother, please be gracious to me. In this distressed state that I am today, I am praying, and she prayed with the mind. I am praying to you, be gracious by lightening the weight of the bow of Bhagavan Shankar. This is what she prayed for internally. As Bhagavan Sri Ram is standing there by the bow, Sita Mata's mind is focused on Bhavani, on Durga, on Gauri. She opened her eyes and she gazed at Bhagavan Sri Ram. The rest of it is history. We know that Bhagavan Sri Ram did not only lift the bow, but in trying to test it out, to string it, he even broke the bow of Bhagavan Shankar. And so this is the power of focusing the mind, of being affectionate, of serving Bhagavan. This was Sita Maya's work every morning. She did her prayers to Bhagavan, to Gauri Mata. It's a lesson for us that regardless of what happens in life, that if we have implicit faith in God, if we serve God when things are going well, if we even decide that God is not really doing anything for me, I'm praying to Him every morning, I'm doing all this seva, all this sadhana, when you need Him the most, He will show up, undoubtedly. And this is the lesson from this katha today. Sita Maya prayed and worshipped her every morning, and the 9th moment, and every single person gave up hope, she focused in on Bhavani with her mind, asked to lighten the bow, and success was hers. Prem se bolo Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. This is our little katha this evening, so I hope that it's a little reminder that we should, as long as we're devotees of Bhagavan, that we should never lose hope. Whether we pray to God as Parvati, Parvati meaning the daughter of the mountain, right? Parvat. Because that's where Parvati lives, in Mount Kailash. And she also goes by the name Gauri, which means that, brilliance and shining. She also goes by the name Sati, the mother who purifies, and specifically brings clarity in situations, as she brought clarity to that difficult, a situation that no one could have fathomed. That Sati brought clarity to Mata Sita. Don't worry, When the mala fell on her neck, that was clarity. Don't worry, everything will be fine. But when stress takes over the mind, we kind of forget where Bhagwan is. But when everything else doesn't work, focus the mind on God. He'll deliver for every person. So I hope that this is another small katha that shows how Durga Maya played a role in the life of Mata Sita, and because of her prayers, Sita's prayers to Jagadamba Maya, that she delivered. So bear those little points in mind and know that even Sita Maya, who was divinity incarnate, but also came to show, to set an example, especially, not limited to, but especially to women folk, how to have faith, how to serve God. And when your time is here, Bhagwan will deliver for you. So in closing, Jagadamba Maya, Gauri, Bhavani, all the same form of God. Let's group our voices together as we sing. गौरवशाली वैभवशाली तुझको करूं प्रणाम. We do a pranam to Jagadamba. Jagadambe, Jai Jagadambe Ma. Jagadambe, Jai Jagadambe Ma. गौरवशाली वैभवशाली तुझको प्रणाम. जगदम्बे जय जगदम्बे माँ. जगदम्बे जय जगदम्बे माँ. जय माँ जय माँ तेरी सुमरन ये में, that if we सुमरन करे, if we focus our mind on Divine Mother, कैसे अमृत पाया, all that is good, all that is sweet and favorable will come our way. मोह जगत के दूर हुए, that is abhiman that we have, we're asking Divine Mother to take it away so that we can succeed in the spiritual path. Let these things don't come and disturb my mind. I want my mind to be spiritual, to be fixed on you. Tumko gao, tumko dhyao. Let me have the opportunity to sing your name, to meditate upon you. Mata Shubha Hosam. I know if I do, then every time I'll be in a position to attain your divine blessings. Mata tere sumiran mein ye kaisa amrit paya. मोह जगत के दूर है हो, मोह जगत के दूर है, भाई कोई न मन में पाया. जय माँ जय माँ जय माँ. माता तेरे सुमिरन में ये कैसा अमृत पाया. मोह जगत के दूर है ओए भाई कोई न मन में आया. तुमको गाऊं तुमको गाऊं माता सुबह हो शाम. जगदम्बे जय जगदम्बे माँ. जगदम्बे जय जगदम्बे माँ. जय माँ जय माँ बचाते पीराओं से वरद हस्त जो तेरे. तेरे मंदिर आते जाते पाँव तके ना मेरे. जय माँ जय माँ जय माँ. मुझे बचाते पीराओं से वरद हस्त जो तेरे. मेरे मन में आते जाते पाँव थके ना तेरे। तूने माता सदा बनाए मेरे बिगड़े काम। जगदम्बे जय जगदम्बे माँ, जगदम्बे जय जगदम्बे माँ। गौरवशाली भवशाली तुझको करूँ प्रणाम। जगदम्बे जय जगदम्बे माँ, जगदम्बे जय जगदम्बे माँ, जगदम्बे